Okay, guys, good morning. So we are going to be reviewing for the SOL today. I know it's a work day, so it's kind of get in the way of a few things. So what we want to do is, number one, -8 minus 2 on the Summer Bell work. If we simplify this, this is going to give me -10, and we'll review this later. 5 minus -4, there's no difference between negative and minus. It's going to become plus, and you should have gotten 9. 3, -9 plus 2 gives me -7. And 4, 7 plus -2 equals 5. So this is in Canvas, so if you want to and you need to pause it, feel free to go back. So you have a worksheet in front of you that is review for the SOL, and I also included the formula sheet for you to use because really important formula that we're going to be using today is that one of a circle. I think I made a big call the next page, maybe. Yes. So right here, one of these reviews, we didn't actually learn together. You should have learned it. It should be prior knowledge. But if it's not, you're going to be using these formulas right here. C stands for circumference. That should be review. So you can either use 2 times pi times r or pi times diameter. And then for area, you're going to use pi r squared. And like I said, this should be review. Circumference is the distance around the circle, kind of like perimeter, but we just call it circumference. And then area is the space inside. So if I look at this, here's your area. That's the space inside of it, right? And then the circumference is the distance around it, basically the perimeter, right? Like if we had a round fence. What are D and R? It's on review for you, and I gave you notes on it, but diameter goes all the way across. So like if this diameter was 30, the radius goes halfway. So my diameter would be 30 and my radius would be half of that, which is 15. And you can also put this into Desmos to help you. All right, so going back then, these are all notes to help you remember and remind you of things that some of which I've covered in class and some you should have learned from prior teachers. So for example, it says circumference is pi times diameter. So these are review. All right, or 2 times pi times r. And then you can use either one depending on what the problem gives you. So for example, it says we want to find, we're given the diameter here 8 because the line goes all the way across. So if we're given the line 8 and it did the problem for you, then we know we're going to use this formula for circumference because it has diameter. My diameter is 8. So C is equal to, we're going to let pi equal 3.14, right? Parentheses, times my diameter of 8. And they did it for you, so here's your example to go by. And using Desmos, you can put that in, and that's what you should get for your answer. All right, the same thing, we could have used the radius. So we could have also used the formula of C equals 2 pi r. My radius here would be 4, because it's half the diameter. So my circumference would be 2 times 3.14 using Desmos times my radius of 4, and you get the exact same answer. So these are just some notes to help you along with what you're going to be doing today. Okay, so it says the direction of circumference, area, and pi. So we want to go through and answer these questions. What is the circumference of the circle? And you can see this a lot better than I can because I try to zoom in on it. But you're given a diameter, so I'll start you off with this problem, but I want you to do it on your own. So I'm given that my diameter is 4.5. All right, and we want to know the circumference. So you're going to use the formula, circumference equals pi times diameter, which is going to give me 3.14 times 5. And I'm not going to answer it for you because you should be able to use Desmos and do this on your own. Okay? It says number 4, which best describes pi? The product of the circumference of a circle and the length, the quotient, the ratio, or the sum. This answer is already in the notes that I just gave you. It is the ratio of the circumference of the circle to its diameter, and that's in the notes above. So when you have questions about some of these, make sure that you look at the notes. Okay, area. You're going to be doing something a little bit different with area. So this one, we are given the diameter, so it's a 2-part problem. If it goes all the way across, I don't know why it's shaking like that. If it goes all the way across, then I'm given my diameter is 20. But my formula, if I look on my formula sheet, area is A equals pi r squared. So I don't need my diameter, I need my radius. If the diameter is 20, then my radius is going to be 10. All right, so I look at that then. So A is equal to, we're going to let pi be 3.14 times my radius is 10 squared. And again, you're going to use Desmos for this, but just as a reminder, 10 squared, that's 10 times 10, right? That's not 20. So if you do 10 squared, and I showed you how to do that in Desmos, you should get 3.14 times 100. And again, I'm not going to do it all the way out for you because I want you to be able to do it on your own. Including number 5. So these should all be review. All this should be review problems for you. Okay, area and perimeter notes. I know that we know how to do this because we did this in class, but if you need help, I even showed you how to put these formulas into Desmos. But these are some examples if you need to go back and look for the examples of area and perimeter. We just covered that. All right, same thing for polygons. We just went through polygons like 2 weeks ago, so this should be a review, but in case you need some extra help, these are some notes to help you with lines of symmetry and whether or not they are congruent and whether they are regular. Remember, a polygon is a closed 2D shape. To be congruent, they have to be exactly the same size and same shape, and to be regular, right, these are my regular polygons, all the sides are congruent and all the angles are congruent, and we went through that just a couple weeks ago, but just as a reminder. So I want you to go through then, and I want you to, this is like a post-test, basically, of what we know of 6.7 through 6.9, and answer these questions. You have to read them and pull out the information you know. Miss Johnson's table is 36 inches wide and 90 inches long. So I suggest that the first thing that you do is draw a picture for each one of these to decide what it is that you're finding. All right, you're going to draw a picture. So we're going to say a table. Pretend like it's perfect. All right, so a table, and it's 36 inches wide and 96 inches long. So 30, all right, so it's 36 inches wide and then 96 inches long, right? And it says, what is the least amount of material she needs to make a tablecloth? So then you have to say, am I finding perimeter or area? Well, if it's tablecloth, it's going to cover the entire inside. So it should be area is length times width. And this is a review, so you should know how to do this, and use Desmos to find the area of that. Okay, so all of this is review, and I want to see how we're going to do on this. Again, make sure that you draw a picture to help you. This, again, is all review. The figures are congruent. What is the measure of AB? So if they are congruent, hint, hint, AB right here is going to be congruent to EF, right? So that's how we're going to do that, but this should be review. And then number 7, I know we've also covered as well, so I want you to be able to do that one. So ordered pairs, there's more than one answer, guys. Make sure that you do all of these, right? So it says circle all ordered pairs that would be graphed in quadrant 3. And this is also reviewed, and there's notes on here about it. But remember, we have quadrants, and this is 1, 2, 3, and 4. Also review. All right, move on. All right, polygon and congruence. This is practice for you guys, but we did this together, so we should know how to do these. Now I want to see how well we do on them. And then it says circle each box. There's more than one, by the way. Every box that contains either a congruent segment, angle, or polygon. And remember, to be congruent, polygons have to be exactly the same size and the same shape. So don't let that trick you, especially like for that last one, because they look very similar. Okay, so this area and perimeter practice, we've done this together as well. Write area or perimeter to indicate what you need to find for each situation. So I'll just do like one or so for you. Laying tile on a kitchen floor. So if I have my kitchen floor and I'm laying tile on it, right, that's an example. I'm covering the whole floor. That should be area. That's the biggest thing we have to decide is what we're finding. All right, putting a fence around a garden. Well, if I'm putting a fence around a garden, right, that's going on the outside, right? That would be perimeter. So go through and read these, right, and try to answer the questions. And then same thing for these. First, you want to decide, are you finding perimeter area, and you have your formula sheet to use. All right. All of that is review. And this as well, and I know we covered this together. I do want to go over, however, so we should know how to plot points and quadrants, etc. But the one problem I want to make sure I review with you is this one, okay? First of all, length. If it were to ask you the length of something, say like what is the length of AB, it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we covered that in class. So if you look back down though, it says which line segment most likely connects the points located at 3, 1. So 3, 1 right here is B, right? And 3, -4. So 3, -4 would be this point. That would be line segment BC, just as a review. Okay, and I went over distance with you, so you should be able to answer this last question now. All right, and then moving on. All this should be review. So that's the review. The other thing that I want you to work on is every class got to a different point, and it's also awards day, so classes are going to be crazy. I want to make sure that you finish what we were doing yesterday. We've covered everything, mean, median, mode, and range, and not copying, but there's also another page of that you need to make sure, and I'll minimize this, for you to work on. And actually, I'm going to pull it up and help you with it if you're confused about it. So we were doing this, measures essential tendency. So we did most of this together. I want you to finish it up on your own. Sorry, minimize. Okay, we did most of this together. And I'm going to put the video, but I want you guys to be working on this, and it's sideways on my screen, so it's kind of hard to see. But what I really want to make sure, we understand is that you're pairing up the ones that are the same. So you're going to get the same answers. So for example, and I'm going to pull the answers up for just a second to show you briefly. Right, so here's the answers, everything that we've done in class. What it's wanting you to do to find the bottom, right? Now, I'm kind of giving you the thing, but basically you're going to match it up. So for example, if I look here, I got 26 on this side. Annotate over it. I know it's sideways, but you should have a copy of it. Okay, so if I look at this side, I got 26 here, and I got 26 here. All right, so that means that for 13, right here, for number 13, okay, I'm going to put what letter was over here, and it's kind of cut off, this thing. But this letter would be R. So on your sheet, you should be able to see an R there. So that's how that's going to work. That's what confuses most students. So that is what we're doing for today. I'm going to be logged on with you if you have questions, but I may be on my phone depending because I have an appointment that I have to go to. So anyway, be really good, and congrats on all of your awards, and I cannot wait to see you. That's a wrap.